Okay, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Thank you so much for your patronage. If you're supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much if you have connected your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account. Remember to re-link those, re-up that link every month or so. We get paid every month that you remember to do that. And if you're a YouTube subscriber, we appreciate it. All those are getting us paid, so Shane can afford to keep producing these. I'm not getting paid, but I appreciate that you're allowing Shane to give me a forum. All right, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor. Our question today from SIFTD from Derek D111. With the runaway launch success of the disk-based versions of Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, plus Switch's continued momentum, do you still believe this will be the last dedicated console generation? You know, I've never really believed it when I say it. What I've really said is that each console generation would be smaller than the one prior. And I believed that the PS4 version will be smaller than the PS3 version cycle, would be smaller than the PS3 cycle, and the PS5 cycle will be smaller than the PS4 cycle. I still believe that. Will there be a PS6? Sure. The things that are going to accelerate the decline are lower increments of improvement for each cycle. So, you know, this is me with my 1080p TV. Like, I can afford a 4K TV, and I literally went to the store for the first time in probably 6 months. My wife and I went into Costco a couple weeks ago, and I saw I don't remember the brand, but a good brand, not Samsung, but a really good brand 65-inch 4K TV for $500 at Costco. So, you know, my last 65-inch TV, I only have one, I bought in 2016 for $900 and thought I was a genius, and it's a 1080p. So the 4Ks are $500. I could replace that for $500. I just don't care. And the reason I don't care is it's games and Netflix and nothing else. Like, broadcast TV isn't in 4K yet. And so I don't care. Like, I can do it, but I don't care. And I will, and it isn't because I can't afford the $500. It's that it's not enough of an improvement for me to go to the hassle of getting a new TV. So that's the consoles. And, you know, short of really super blindingly fast load times, the increment of improvement isn't that great. So I'm going to wait until there's software I really want to play before I buy a console. And by the time I get there, and that'll, let's just say, let's pretend I was poor. It would take me 3 years before I actually cared. That's when you're going to have widespread availability of cloud services. That's when you're going to have a competitive console from Amazon that's going to be $100 and be called an Amazon Echo, and it's going to look like an Echo Tower, and it's just going to have a CPU built in and a solid state drive built in, and you're not even going to know it's a console. Amazon's just going to tell you, hey, that $100 Echo device we sold you last year, just say, hey, Alexa, play Call of Duty, and it will. And that's going to happen. So I think you're going to have a pull forward of the console purchasers in years 5, 6, 7, 8 into year 3 and 4. Alexa's talking back to me. Isn't that funny? Alexa, off. I think that you're going to have a pull forward of the console purchasers from year 5, 6, 7 into year 3, 4, because they're going to buy these Echo devices. And when they do, they're not going to buy a PlayStation. Now, they will buy a PlayStation to play Last of Us Part 3 or God of War 6 or whatever, but, you know, they're not going to buy a console to play Call of Duty because they're going to be able to do it on their Echo device. And so that's going to lower sales of consoles. So no, I don't think we're at the end of the console generation. I think that there will always be consoles made for people who just have to have the fastest load times and the highest graphic fidelity. But I think that if Sony and Microsoft sold, you know, call it 225 million consoles last cycle between them, they'll sell 175 million between them this cycle, and they'll sell 125 million between them the next cycle, and that's how it'll go. So I don't think it's going to be obsolete. I think that, you know, they'll keep coming out with them, and as long as they have first-party software, they stay relevant. So Microsoft being out there buying Bethesda, what happens if Microsoft buys Activision or EA? If you can only play these things the way Microsoft tells you, they have the money. If they want to, they could do something like that. And then their consoles become super relevant. Fortunately for consumers, Microsoft doesn't really care. Like, they are not about selling you a console. They're about selling you the Microsoft experience through a subscription, which I talked about in a prior episode. They would be perfectly happy if you never bought a console and you just paid them $15 a month in perpetuity and had Game Pass and played it on any screen and use the cloud. So, there's always going to be the guy who wants the super fast load time and instant memory of where he was in the game when he stopped it. Guys want to pause the game and go, start talking on the phone and forget about it 10 hours later, come back and the game's still there. Microsoft's going to be able to deliver that without a console. Anyway, so I'm hopeful you guys stay safe and sane. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor in 2020. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. You guys have allowed Shane to eat. He's losing weight, but he's not emaciated yet. Thank you for those of you who joined your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. Keep linking it. It gets us paid. Just remember to renew that. The instructions are in the show description. If you're following us as a YouTube subscriber, we appreciate it. And all of you have to follow me on Twitter. Please shout out that you are following me, because I guilted you into it, and I promise I will retweet you. Thanks for joining us. Have a happy new year, and we will talk to you next time.